Good evening and welcome to the special presentations of the City of Moreno Valley for the Moreno Valley City Council. Today is October 15th, 2019, and it's about 5:35. Our first presentation is a proclamation recognizing the California Desert Protection Act. Councilmember Thornton will speak and present a proclamation to Traffic Safety Commissioner Marla Mayteam.
Good evening. It is my great honor and pleasure to present the proclamation recognizing the 25-year anniversary of the California Desert Protection Act. Accepting this proclamation on behalf of Mojave Desert Land Trust Executive Director Jerry Hund is Marla Mayteam. The California Desert Protection Act created a collective of protected lands that draw millions of visitors from all over the world each year, driving economies and creating jobs. It is an annual observance that celebrates the uniqueness of California's deserts and wilderness areas. It brought together efforts to protect desert wildlife and natural ecosystems through subsequent legislative efforts. These protected lands strengthen our tourism economy, provide military security buffer zones, and make this region a great place to live and visit. The City of Moreno Valley encourages its residents and future generations to acknowledge the California Desert Protection Act and hope that they will also take pride in ensuring the preservation of our treasured landscapes. It is my pleasure now to present this proclamation. Whereas October 31st, 2019 marks the 25th anniversary of the 1994 California Desert Protection Act, which created the Mojave National Preserve, Joshua Tree National Park, and Death Valley National Park, as well as 69 new desert wilderness areas in the California Desert region. And whereas conservation measures of the California Desert safeguard precious groundwater, aquifer watersheds, desert plants, wildlife, and air quality, making maintaining the protected lands of the Moreno Valley's interest. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of the City of Moreno Valley, on behalf of its citizens and staff, recommits itself to the safeguards within the past 25 years of desert protection and the scenic vistas that balance conservation, recreation, and development. Please join me in showing our support for California Desert Protection Act. Thank you to the Mojave Desert Land Trust for highlighting the important occasion of the 25th year anniversary of the California Desert Protection Act. Would you like to say something?
Sure. On behalf of the Mojave Desert Land Trust, Executive Director Gary Hund, we thank you, City of Moreno Valley, Mayor Gutierrez, Councilwoman Thornton, Councilwoman Baca, Councilman Carrera, and Councilman Marquez. We just thank you, and we hope that the next 25 years is with a lot more protection and awareness for our treasured jewels.
Nice big smiles. Okay, the final presentation is a report from Emerging Leaders Council. We can have former student mayor Giselle Tapia to come up to the podium and present her report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and staff. My name is Giselle Tapia. I am the former mayor of the Emerging Leaders Council. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of what we've done over the last year. We have a new member this year. I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, probably Mumtahina. She is a high school student. And our new student mayor is Wendy Acuna, and with Mary Reza as our vice mayor. A little bit that we've done over the past year. and a little bit about the City Council, the Emerging Leaders Council, is we are made up of 9 members and 2 alternates. However, for various reasons, we have some vacancies, not including the alternate positions. I know that city staff has been actively advertising for new members. They have been at every city event with all the applications of boards and councils trying to recruit new members. Our mission is serving, connecting, and empowering youth and young adults to become future leaders while making a difference in our community. This year, we have made a youth webpage that we have been working on for about a couple years now. This youth webpage, we expect to have all the resources that a high school student or even a young adult would need, all in one page, and it will be as an extension to our own page on the city website. This is still in process, that we're still trying to get approvals from the media department. In May, we did an adopt a road cleanup. We have adopted the road on Cottonwood between Heacock and Graham. We have both sides of the street, so we will go ahead and start clean up on one side and then continue on the other. This year we had our Moreno Valley Youth Conference 2019. This was our best attended conference this year. We had it here in the City Council chambers. We had many booths like the Police Explorers, the Fire Explorers, the Moreno Valley Library, Moreno Valley College, and the Youth Opportunity Center. We had 3 speakers to come to speak to students about job equity and personal motivation. We basically filled up the whole room, and I believe we may have also gotten a grant. I don't know. I'm looking at Ulysses because he's our council liaison. But I do believe that we have gotten a grant to be able to expand the youth conference and make it even bigger, to have it in the Conference and Rec Center. I'm looking forward to seeing the council achieve its goals by completing the projects, and I'm hoping with the ELC beginning to bring new resources to our youth, we can make a difference. Are there any questions or comments?
Well, I just wanted to say, thank you for your service, Giselle, and I've seen from the first time when you started, I think it was 2014 or 2015, I think it was?
14.
14. Just your growth overall. So it's just been awesome, and thank you for everything that you've done, in starting those youth conferences and leading the team as well. And so I did have a question. So you said it's Graham, or that's where this Adopt a Street is?
It's on Cottonwood between Heacock and Graham.
Oh, on Cottonwood. Oh, okay, great. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for the work that you do and your leadership. And I know that you're going to go far with everything you've done in your youth. And congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank
Just
you.
give her another round of applause.
Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you, Mayor. And Giselle, just also want to say thank you, for the time that we were able to work together there on the ELC. I did see your dedication, and, you were passionate about it. And even though, when you termed out, you were pretty sad about it, and we all were, because we saw everything that you had done and all the things that you established. So hopefully, moving into the future, I know you're going to be busy with a lot of different things, but hopefully you can, stay connected and come back and maybe continue to mentor some of the future members and, be an advisor and, stay involved with us, because I know that the members do miss you, and you did a lot of good work for us. So, definitely come back sometime.
I've already been in talks with Wendy with new ideas that we have, and we have some exciting ideas to bring. So
Perfect.
I'm still keeping in there.
Thank you.
Councilmember Dr. Thornton.
I just want to say thank you so much for volunteering, your spirit of giving back to the community. You're going to be role modeling for other young adults and children in the community. And I just want you to make sure you know that you're making a huge difference, and keep pressing on in your community involvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle. And just a brief commercial for the community. If you know of any youth, we do have our Student City Council, which we call Emerging Leaders Council. So please reach out to us and apply. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Giselle.
That concludes our special presentations. Our regular council meeting will resume at 6 p.m.
Good evening and welcome to the joint meeting of the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley Community Services District, City as Successor Agency for the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Moreno Valley Housing Authority, Moreno Valley Public Financing Authority, and the Board of Library Trustees. The City Council receives a separate stipend for CSD meetings. I now call this regular City Council meeting to order on October 15th, 2019 at 6 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Frank Wright. Please remain standing for the invocation, which will be given by Pastor Donnie Wilson from Lighthouse Baptist Church.
Everyone please stand. Let us honor the color of our flags to the respect of the 2,000 Marines that died at the Battle of Normandy after World War II, in respect by saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray. Father, I come before you tonight thankful and grateful for all that you're doing here in Moreno Valley. We thank you for the leadership before us and the direction of this city, the good things that are going on here. Lord, you're just blessing and working and moving. And we ask that you would continue to put your hand a blessing on this place and the people that live here. Lord, there are difficulties here, and Lord, we know you're sovereign in all of that. We ask you would give wisdom to those in leadership, wisdom beyond their own capabilities, your wisdom, sovereign, godly wisdom, Father. Lord, we ask you to be with our school system. You know everything that's going on there, Father. Lord, we ask that you would guide and direct and put your hand in there, comfort families, and give wisdom to those leaders in charge there. We thank you for what you're doing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Donnie Wilson from Lighthouse Baptist. All right, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Thornton,
Present.
Councilmember Marquez,
Here.
Councilmember Cabrera,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca,
Here.
Mayor Gutierrez,
Here, staff introductions, please.
Pat Jaques Nares, City Clerk.
Regina Flores, Senior Deputy City Clerk.
Marshall Ironman, Chief Financial Officer, City Treasurer.
Martin Kazanowicz, City Attorney.
Alan Brock, Assistant City Manager.
Mike Lee, Economic Development Director.
Patty Nevins, Acting Community Development Director.
Oh, the mic.
Lieutenant Kevin Lamb, Moreno Valley Sheriff Station.
Abdul Ahmed, Fire Chief.
Kathleen Sanchez, Human Resources Director.
Michael Wolf, Director of Public Works, City Engineer.
All right, thank you, staff. Just to remind everyone, we do have Spanish translation services in the back if anyone is interested. I do embrace and support the First Amendment right to free speech, including everyone's right to speak at this meeting and share his or her views about the issues concerning our city. Each speaker will have 3 minutes for the non-agenda items. In order to preserve the meeting decorum, council and staff will not respond during public comments. Any council comments or questions to staff will be addressed during the council closing comments. So if we will respond, they will be at the end. Those wishing to speak should complete and submit a blue speaker slip to the bailiff. And again, there's a 3-minute time limit per person. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the presiding officer or to the city council. The city clerk will call 3 names at a time. Please move to the front of the room when you hear your name called. So, Madam Clerk, how many speakers do we have tonight?
Just one.
Okay, go ahead and call that person.
Juan Munoz.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Juan Munoz. I am a carpenter, and I wanted to speak. Can you guys hear me? Is on? I wanted to speak a little bit about the CWA CWA that I believe we voted on a couple months ago. I know there's been some opposition. I wanted to clear up some lies that were told the last time that meeting was held. They said that there was going to be an increase of 10 to 15% on CWA projects and PLA projects. I believe that's the money that's cheated on. There's no oversight with these contractors, so I believe that they cheat between 10 and 15%. When they do their certified payroll records, they keep a copy, and the DLSC gets a copy. Nobody in between. There's nobody that goes to the job site to make sure that these gentlemen are getting paid the prevailing wage rate for their category, for their craft. Riverside Unified School Board District recently turned down a CWA project, which I thought was funny, because I visited their school board that they're having renovated. A week later, a carpenter on that job was getting paid $25 an hour. And I said, did anybody come out to visit you to make sure you're getting paid your money? He says, no, nobody comes out here. I called the company. I was like, hey, do you have records? Like, we have records. Well, who oversees you? Who's the awarding body? Nobody. Who did you turn in the certified payroll record to? Nobody. The DLSC. The DLSC does not send anybody out to investigate. That's a lie. Another lie you're going to hear is less contractors would bid on a prevailing wage project if there's a CWA in place. That's probably true, because contractors that cheat aren't going to bid because there's going to be more oversight. There's going to be structure put in place where cheating is not going to be accepted. So those contractors that do cheat, yeah, they're not going to bid. They're not going to bid those projects. But there's absolutely nothing that says they cannot bid those CWA projects or PLA projects. There's nothing forbidding them. All we're asking for is structure in a CWA or a PLA. Contractors are going to say, well, we got to pay double insurance. There's insurance paid by the company and insurance that would be provided by the prevailing wage. Private companies, they do not pay full health care for full family health care for 5 kids, 10 kids, 11 kids, whatever many kids, and your wife. All they provide for is just the employee. When there's a CWA, you can have pre-existing conditions. You can have 10 kids or 20 kids. They're all covered. The Riverside Community College finished up their CWA PLA. It was 68% local hire. 68%. That's an outstanding number. And that number was given by a lawyer that the Riverside School Board hired to collect. 68%. That's amazing that people that live in Riverside, the residents and local members, get to build their own colleges, their own schools.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
I think I ran out.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, buddy.
We support it.
Okay. Okay, we have one more speaker.
Luis Palomares.
Okay, Luis Palomares.
Hello, community activist Luis Palomares.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, I'm here because last time we were talking about the issue that happened with the young man Diego. It's really sad. And I was looking over the consent calendar for the prior time before that. And Council Member Marcus, I mean, he never ceases to amaze me. He voted against 2 items that were so important. I mean, it passed, but he didn't agree with the rest of the council. It was on the consent calendar. Sorry, I was running in here earlier. AB, funding for child development and child care services. We need these things. He voted against it. I don't get it. I don't understand. And then another one, grant money for the public safety worth over $46,000. What happened with that? Or maybe my numbers are wrong here. But this was on the consent calendar prior to this meeting. And the council was here, everybody voted for it, but he voted against it. I don't understand, with all the needs we have in our community right now, with all the things that are going on in our schools about bullying and everything else like that, we need these funds. We need everything we can get, you know? And I know this council, except for David Marcus, pours a lot of energy and time into our kids in this community. You're the council members. That's the school board's job to do over there. They're having a pony show over there. It already ended about how we're going to fix the mess as far as what happened over there at the school board with Diego. Well, like I said, it's a sad day in Moreno Valley when these things have to keep on happening in our community. And I thank and I commend you, council members, and our staff for all you do. You do so much for our kids in this community. You care so much. And that's why I'm puzzled that Mr. Marcus, Councilmember Marcus here, voted against those funds. Why would he? I would like an answer to that question. I know he can't answer me here and now, but I would like to know, because he voted against everything. The skate park, the Canyon Springs the Canyon Springs Stadium over there, all kinds of things for the students here. And then a program he had dismantled over there, our Armada music program that was for 50-something kids. They dismantled it because he didn't like that the parents were supporting somebody else he didn't care about. So he went over there and had that dismantled. That was years ago. These kids don't have that music program. He fixed that good. So what is it? Are you against kids? Do you like kids? You hate? I'm it amazes me. I'm lost for words here because it just don't end with you, Mr. Marcus. You're supposed to be here to care about our community. You just care what suits you. You got your own personal agenda, and I don't know what the hell it is. You vote no on a lot of things that the council's doing, not just for the students, just because they don't please you and suit you, and you got your own personal agenda. Come on, get on, get with it.
Okay, thank you, Louise.
Get off the seat.
Louise, thank you. Okay, next. Any other?
No more speakers.
Okay. We are now going to move to our joint consent calendar, sections A through E. All items listed under the consent calendar, sections A, B, C, D, and E, are considered to be routine and non-controversial and may be enacted by one motion. I do want to make a correction on A10, and I'll have the city attorney make a public statement on A10. There's a correction on that one.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Just a minor correction. The report references Mr. Jimenez as a newly hired employee of the city, and his correct title is Maintenance Worker 1. That's what should be in the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you. And then, all right, so we have a request from Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to make a comment on A4.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so A4 actually has to do with the MOU between the city and Moreno Valley College for the Moreno Valley College Promise Initiative. And, we've talked about this before, and it's an amazing program. And we just had the President's Dinner as well, where we talked a lot about the things that are going on over at the college. And we do have someone here, Ed Alvarez as well, who actually runs the program over at the college. Thank you, Ed, for being here and for pouring yourself into that. There's a lot of emotion over there, and I've seen you in action, and so it's it's really nice to see all of that. And so I just wanted to point that out, that we're continuing this. We want to keep it growing because there's going to be a lot of new jobs that are coming here in the very near future, and we need to prepare our youth to fill those jobs that earn higher wages, get better benefits, and they can come back and have a better quality of life. And so that's what this is all about. And I just wanted to make sure that we are all aware that we're continuing that here tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Marquez?
Thank you, Mayor. It's also on 4.
Okay.
I want to propose, if I can at this time, that we increase this amount and make it a permanent annual thing instead of coming back every year, and propose it's $100,000 a year, and propose that this is a continuous thing from now on out. I don't know if I can do that now or not.
Well, what we can do is send it to the Finance Committee, and then at the Finance Committee, we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
Okay.
So on that too.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
A5.
Okay. You mean A4?
That was A4.
Oh, okay.
But I'd like to make a comment on, I have a comment on A5.
Oh, on A5, okay.
And this would go to Marshall. Marshall, reading the staff report on the new SB that covers this wildfire, why is Moreno Valley, I know we have to abide by the state laws, but 90% or 95% of our utilities are underground. Why do we still have to report or have our annual report and inspection every year if this is so?
Well, some of the things that the Assembly Bill and Senate Bill both address, and you'll see in our report here, is it's not just wildfire danger, but there are other issues that may occur in California. So it does cover a little bit of earthquake and flood, provides notification information, and so it expands into different areas. We are unique in that we have the benefit of most of our facilities are underground. That helps prevent wildfire issues, but this does cover some other areas that could be an issue in the future as well.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, great. Okay, all right, let's go to Madam Clerk, public comments on the consent calendar?
Yes, sir. Luis Palomares.
Okay.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow, this is exactly what I'm talking about. A4. I mean, golly, how good does it get? How many programs? And before you close the meeting, would you please say all what you got going on for these students? Because a lot of people don't know. And if they hear it, they're going to say, oh, wow, let me call the city council and find out what's going on with that. All the programs you got going on. And right here, you're helping here too. You know, and how noble of David Marcus now to say, let's raise the, wow. Yeah, sure. He's using that card, huh? Thank you again.
Thank you, Luis. All right. I entertain a motion to approve. Okay, motion moved by
Second.
Councilmember Cabrera, second by Mayor Pro Tem Baca. Okay, please vote. Okay, and it's approved unanimously. We'll go straight to F1, which is adoption of 2019 California Building Codes, California Code of Regulations, Title 24. And basically, it's incorporating the latest editions of the model codes with amendments. And it's pretty much routine item that we usually do. So we'll have a report from Community Development.
Thank you, Mayor. James Verdugo, our Building and Safety Supervisor, will present the report.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. The subject of this evening item involves the code adoption of the upcoming 2019 California Building Codes, as was already mentioned, and well recognized, it sounds like. So this action is supported by both the Building Safety Department and Fire Prevention Department, whose activities within the city of Moreno Valley primarily revolve around ensuring compliance with state mandated fire and building codes. These state building code standards are codified and contained in what we call the Title 24 California Code of Regulations, which in turn are organized into 12 separate parts. Just to name a few, easily recognized, these include the Administrative Code, the Building Code, the Fire Code, Electrical, Plumbing, Mechanical, Green Code, and Energy Code. Title 24 California Code of Regulations is commonly referred to as the California Building Code Standards. It's amended every 3 years to include new state provisions and amendments of the most recent version. Local jurisdictions must adopt the California Building Standards for local enforcement within 180 days of when the Title 24 California Code of Regulations is published. This publication recently occurred in July 1st, 2019. So in adopting Title 24 for local enforcement, the jurisdiction may amend the standards if such amendments are necessary to address any local, geological, topographic, or climatic conditions. The 2019 California Building Codes are therefore codified in the Moreno Valley Municipal Code and adopted by reference to allow local modifications necessary for implementation within the local jurisdiction. The proposed ordinance will amend the Moreno Valley Municipal Code Title 8 by adding and replacing chapters to accommodate the language adopting the new 2019 California Building Code standards, which go into effect July 1st, 2020. This becomes very necessary for both the Building and Safety Division and the Moreno Valley Fire Prevention Department for proper enforcement and compliance of the continued ongoing construction within the city. This will not have an impact on the city's general fund. This concludes the commentary for this item. Both myself, for Building and Safety, and Fire Marshal Paul Villalobos will address any questions you have at this time.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Any council questions of staff? Seeing none. Go ahead and open the hearing. Any public testimony, Madam Clerk?
None.
Okay, I'm going to close the hearing. I entertain a motion by council to approve staff's recommendations numbers 2 and 3. Okay, moved by
Second.
Councilor Marquez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Baca. So go ahead and please vote. Okay, and we move that forward. We're going to go straight to item F2, which is a public hearing for the one National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System mail ballot proceeding, the NPDES. So we'll have a report from Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. This item before you, as expressed by the mayor, is the MPDS ballot proceedings. This is a single-family home development. So it's a custom home on Kimberly Avenue between Wilmot and Redlands. The condition of approval is for them to satisfy the MPDS requirements. The property owner has chosen this process to do that. So basically, the property owner will enter into a balloting procedure. So tonight, we're recommending the MPS parcel charge, which would be to hold the public hearing, and absent any compelling testimony, recommend council approve action to conduct the ballot process, accept the results, and if a yes vote, set the rate. So that concludes the report.
All right. We'll have any council questions to staff? That one. Okay, seeing none. Go ahead and open the hearing. Any public testimony? Madam Clerk?
None.
Okay. Hearing closed. I entertain a motion by council to approve staff's recommendations number 2, which is to direct the clerk to count the ballots. Okay, moved by Councilor Marquez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Baca. Okay, please vote on that. Okay, and it passes. So at this time, our clerk will go ahead and count the ballots.
One ballot, yes.
Okay, great. So I entertain a motion, since it's a yes, by council to approve staff's recommendations numbers 3 and 4.
Moved.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Cabrera.
Second.
Okay, second by Mayor Pro Tem Baca. Okay, please vote. Hasn't voted. Okay, motion carries. We're going to go straight to, there were no items removed, city council reports, RTA. So we have a report from Councilmember Marquez. And also, Councilmember Marquez, it looks like you have a report for the Western Riverside County Regional Conservation Authority.
Yeah, RCA.
So you want to just do those two?
Yeah, I'll do both of them real quick.
Thank you.
On June 1st to September 2nd, 198,000 students used the bus for the summer program, which was 25 cents fare. This is a 5.5 increase over the last event. Look for 25 cents promotions later this year for the winter breaks. So that's something that the RTA would like to see, not only kids, but also adults using the mass transportation. And that concludes my report on that one. Second is the RCA board meeting on October 7th. Moreno Valley collected fees of a total of $118,000. That includes 35 residence permits and 5.6 acres of commercial use, and it's the month of August. And what's really outstanding here, there's other cities in this region that have zero paid into this. That means there's no type of building going on in these cities. And it's good to sit there when Moreno Valley is the tops when you get these reports. So I just wanted to pass that on to you. And other than that, that's my report.
Great. All right, thank you, Councilor Marquez. We have a report from the Western Riverside Council of Governments, WRCOG, Mayor Pro Tem Baca.
Thank you. Items covered at the WRCOG Executive Committee meeting on October 7th, 2019 include the following. WRCOG staff provided an update regarding the Regional Housing Needs Assessment, or the RHNA. City staff and WRCOG staff will be conducting further review of the detailed methodologies prior to the November 7th regional meeting of the council. Secondly, the state legislature passed numerous bills in the final weeks of the legislative session, with several related to housing production. City staff will be reviewing the city's development review process and standards and will update where appropriate. Today we had our joint task force meeting, and we have several entities that come together, and we talk about, we discuss what we have, what's upcoming, and what we've done in the past. And we have members of the city, our police department, our parks and recreation department, traffic engineering. We have both school districts, Moreno Valley Unified, Val Verde Unified, the State Park, Lake Paris, and Think Together, one of the nonprofits that works diligently after school to support our kids. And my fellow council member, Mr. Ulises Cabrera, Councilman Cabrera, is also assigned to this task force, and he's going to give us the update tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And yeah, it's a very productive meeting that we have. Thank you. It's a very productive meeting. Today, not everyone was in attendance, but a few of the things that we did talk about. Think Together does have an event coming up. I believe it's, on October 24th. So it's called the National Lights On After School Celebration at all Moreno Valley and Valverde Unified School District elementary and middle schools. So that's on October 24th. And so that actually celebrates all the after-school programs that we have to keep kids safe, inspire them to learn, and to help working families. We also had, so in collaboration with the city and the PGA, we're starting the First Tee program, which will begin on October 23rd at the Cottonwood Golf Course. And it's a really nice program. You know, we're bringing in golf to teach some of our youth from ages 5 to 17. And so that's for an international youth development organization that's focused on golf and trying to enshrine those values into our youth. And also the Parks Department coming up later this month on October 25th. It's a Friday from 6 to 9. We have our annual Day of the Dead Festival featuring Art Fest as well. So we'll have a lot of artists showing their paintings, their drawings. We're going to have people, dressed up. There's live music. It's a really nice event, and I'm expecting it to grow this year. So if you get a chance, I think they're adding a Michelada garden this year, which is new, and I know a lot of people are excited about that. So definitely come out, check it out, listen to the live music, have a fun time, and look at our talented artists here in the area. And also, last thing actually two more things. Moreno Valley College, they have the Veteran Scholarship Breakfast coming up, and our colleague here, Councilmember Thornton, is going to be the keynote speaker at that event. So that's really an honor. She's representing us over there, and all of the funds, the revenue from that breakfast is going to go to veterans there at the campus. So wanted to mention that. And last but not least, we do have a cyclocross event coming up. Eric Lewis gave us the update during the meeting, and so it's kind of like an obstacle course type thing over at the base, and apparently professionals from all over the country and even internationally come out. So that's this weekend, actually on Saturday. So with that concludes the report.
Thank you. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I feel compelled as your building official to thank you for taking action tonight to adopt our current California building code. And this ensures that life and fire safety for all construction is considered, and thereby making Moreno Valley's built environment one of the best to live, work, and play. Also, I'd like to let everyone know, since this will be our last meeting before another upcoming event for November 2nd will be our Day of Service, our annual Day of Service. It's November 2nd, Saturday. It'll be from 9 to 2, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have two opportunities for the community to get involved. The first one, they're both at the same time. So the first one I'm going to mention is Sunnymead Park. That's a beautification effort, so bring your gloves and any tools that you can bring with you to help plant trees, restore some landscaping, litter abatement, and such to beautify that park. The other item we're going to have, or event we're going to have, will be over at the Senior Center, and this will be for those that don't want to get out there and get dirty, but they can still have some fun and give back to the community. We're going to have a donation center there, some clothing, coats is very much in demand as we approach winter. Food, of course, is always in demand for the public that's needy, along with toys. And there'll also be a blood drive going on during that same time. So if you can't bring something to donate, you can always donate blood. And so we thank everybody for participating in that. It's a well-attended event annually. So it's a community day of service, and For anybody here in the audience, there's flyers out on the back table if they want to take one with them. And information is available on our website, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. We have a city attorney's report.
Thank you. Very quickly, I'll be at the League Conference for the next 3 days and look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to go straight to our concluding comments. We'll have Councilmember Dr. Thornton.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to say a big thank you to Chief Ahmad and our Moreno Valley firefighters and CAL FIRE for not only their professionalism, quick responsiveness, and just die-hard dedication to the recent fire that it was in Retchie Canyon, but it impacted Moreno Valley on October 10th. I really want to also thank our Office of Emergency Management, American Red Cross, Salvation Army, and even the Moreno Valley Unified School Security Guards. We had an evacuation for the homes that were on Covey and Morningstar, located in the Sunnymead Ranch area. And our evacuation point was Canyon Springs High School. And so when I stopped by there around 9 o'clock that night, all of those individuals were there. No one ended up evacuating to that particular location, but I just want to use this opportunity to remind all of the people that live in District 2 that, you know, when you look at the Moreno Valley on a map, we are at a greatest chance of being impacted by this wildland fire interface. If there's fires that happen in Retchie Canyon, fires that happen in San Mateo Canyon, or just on the mountains, it's going to impact us. So please, please, please evacuate if you receive an evacuation notice. I also want to thank PD for going out and knocking on doors. And do things like have a savings just in case. To me, it's not about if we're going to get impacted in that area, it's about when. That's our new natural disaster, and we need to take ownership for being prepared and for staying notified. So please subscribe to notifications so that you are aware of when it comes our way. But I really want to thank our public safety for their constant communication and just working so hard. Because at the same time that happened, a fire popped up at Calamasa. So our fire, which is within our Inland Empire region, those firefighters, they've just, and also the police, they've been bombarded with dealing with that. Also, this past weekend, I had a meet and greet in Houndtown Dog Park, which is located in the Equestrian Park off of Redlands Boulevard. We had a great turnout. I want to thank Supervisor Hewitt for showing up, and it was timely because everybody there wanted to talk about fire and their horses. So it was a great turnout, and I really appreciate those who came. I also attended a Hidden Springs community meeting. I will go again in February to that meeting, so anyone that lives in the Hidden Springs community, please show up to the February meeting so that you can discuss with me in person any challenges or any issues that you're having. Besides that, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We have Councilmember Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to say is I got to drive a bus, RTA bus, this weekend, and the directors go out with the bus drivers, and they call it the RTA rodeos. And what this is, you go through this course at one of their facilities, and if you ever driven a bus before, you know how difficult it is. I've never driven a bus until Saturday, and these rodeos, what they are, they go nationwide. Bus drivers throughout the United States, it's a competition. And for the last 2 years, RTA has had the #1 driver in the United States. But that was, driving a big bus like that is just, wow, unbelievable. Today I attended a light-up ceremony at Mountain View Middle School. They went ahead and turned on the switch for their new solar program they have at that school there. School district's going to save about $13 million in so many years. So knowing what we save here on our patios out here, our parking lot, the school's going to save quite a bit of money, and hopefully that money goes back into the teachers and the students. Also, I just want to make a comment or follow up on our speaker today. about certain things that I did while I was here on the council. When you don't know the facts, you're just gonna talk and just talk. And she doesn't know the facts. She doesn't know the facts at all, what goes on up here and what goes on behind our closed doors up here. She had claimed that I didn't approve of the students, something to do with students or schools, and I was involved in a music class or something at Ramada. You know, these are all these are all false comments. I know she got applause from the audience out here, but you need to know the facts, why we vote this way or why I vote this way. If you know what the consent calendar consists of, you can't vote on just one. You have to vote on the whole package. And if you don't know why I voted no, come and ask me, and I'll sit down and discuss it with you. But if you want to listen to that one individual, she doesn't know what she's talking about. As for this Ramada School music, I have no clue. Never been to that school. And she brings it up every time she wanted to trash me up here, but that's fine. A lot of people out there know that it's all false. But what's disturbing is when you have audience out here that clap and they don't know the whole facts. That's disturbing. So all I ask is do your research before you come up here and criticize. Not only me, anybody else up here or our staff. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of points here. So first, I do want to mention that there's a meeting. There's actually going to be a meeting on October 24th for the CTE facilities grant. It's actually has to do with the cybersecurity program for our high school students here in the city. So they're looking at applying for a grant to actually build more facilities at the high school. It's, I believe, Canyon Springs High School. So that's coming up. And I also want to talk briefly about the census. So as we all know that's coming up next year. And there are employment opportunities for a lot of people. The Census Bureau is looking to hire a lot of people, in particular people from the local communities who know the neighborhoods well and know the areas well. So if anyone is looking for employment opportunities, or maybe if you have children in high school or maybe even at the college level, this would be a really good experience for them. Or Ed, maybe you can mention that to some of your students as well. So they can make some money there. So that's an opportunity. Please reach out to me. I'll make sure to get you connected to the right people so that you can pursue that. And there is an event happening at UCR this Thursday. I won't be able to attend, but that's for the Inland Empire Complete Count Committee, basically to really recoup and regroup and see where we are currently in our outreach efforts and what are the next steps to really get the boots on the ground and what agencies are going to come together to collaborate to make sure that we get as many people as possible counted. Because historically, Moreno Valley and the Paris area have some really hard to count areas. So we're trying to make sure that that does not happen for this census, because it only happens once every 10 years, and it's vital for representation in Congress, for funding, for a lot of things that we do. So I can't stress enough the importance of getting everyone counted for the census next year. Next, I want to talk about the League of California Cities. Our city attorney did mention that. It's coming up this week. Actually starts tomorrow, I believe. And I will be there on Thursday, briefly. And I do want to also acknowledge, again, my colleague, Councilmember Thornton, who I believe got appointed. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's called the Housing and Community Development and Economic Development Board, something like that. So I do want to acknowledge that we're having more representation. We're putting a lot of time into this to make sure that we're represented, Moreno Valley at the state level and even at the federal level. So I just want to acknowledge my colleague for that. And last but not least, I want to talk about the school tour that we kicked off last week. On Tuesday, we had the opportunity to go out to Landmark Middle School and visit the kids during lunch. It was really nice. They have so much energy and they're so kind, and they were very happy to see us there. And it was such an amazing opportunity to just get to interact with them and talk with them and, laugh with them and just share that time together. And so Landmark Middle School went very well. I actually want to show y'all something real quick. So we asked them a few questions. This is just 2 pages that I got out of a lot, but one of the questions that we asked them was, what do you love about Movell? I think you could see that. And these are all their responses. And this is just one page that we got, but on here they talk about, their friends, their family, the parks, the nature, a number of different things. But it's just so amazing to see their responses and to really give them an opportunity to let that out, to share that with someone. And it makes them feel really good. You see the smiles on their faces. And so just wanted to share that. And this Thursday, we'll be going to Canyon Springs High School. And then later this month, we'll be going to Vista del Lago. So we're going to keep it going. And, we're going to do anything we can for our kids. So thank you.
Thank you. We have Mayor Pro Tem Baca.
Thank you. It just seems like we haven't been here in a long time, but I don't know why it feels that way. And it feels like a Friday also. But most of us will be going to the League of California Cities to represent Moreno Valley. I know our executive team will be there as well. And I want to say thank you. Shout out to the Carpenters Union for being here. I know you take time out of your busy, hard working day to come here and represent. And I just want to say thank you. And like the mayor said at the beginning, we do support the First Amendment, and we applaud your expression of free speech when you clap. So don't get discouraged, please. As far as the consent agenda, I know that many times the four of us on this side have pulled items to vote separately. So we don't have to vote no for the whole thing. You can actually vote yes on certain items, no on other items, and abstain for a reason on other items. So I just wanted to say that. We have a lot of things coming up. It's the fall. We just got done with our summer session with all the movies, the band, the 4th of July. So now we're coming into the fall. So please come to the Dia de los Muertos. You can bring your costumes. It's going to be a great event. And we're going to have a band. I think it's Latin Nation. Yes. So come and dance. Bring your dancing shoes. Bring your lawn chairs. It's a lot of fun. And then we, go into November where we'll have our Veterans Day events and Thanksgiving. And please come out to the breakfast and hear Dr. Carla Thornton, our councilwoman, who will be the guest speaker at the event November 1st, Moreno Valley College, 7:30 in the morning. So you have time to come hear her, have breakfast, and still get to work. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Baca. Just a few little updates. I'll also be attending the League of the Cities event. And then also to continue the communication with the residents, all of you out there, I will be having a pancake breakfast with the mayor, which is going to be on November 5th at 9 a.m. in the Senior Center. So if you'd like to, join me and we'll be cooking some pancakes for you all. Also, I want to thank the carpenters as well, los carpinteros, so if we can give them a round of applause for their support and coming out here. Thank you. And I'll also be at the Dia de los Muertos. And, we just have so many events because Moreno Valley is growing and we just have so many great things that are happening in our city. So I'm just very, very, we're all blessed here. I do want to mention that at our next meeting, I will be bringing it now for our next meeting, the town center proposal because, this city deserves a town center. Okay, we need to have one. We don't have one. And, we have our land, for our city. And so I'm going to be doing, having that on the council agenda for us to vote on to get that moving, at least an RFP to see who would want to do a public-private partnership with us on that land. So we'll be doing that at the next regular city council meeting coming up in November. And with that, I do want to mention that, unfortunately, I heard today that she was a former mayor and also a council member. Her name was Bonnie Flickinger. She passed away. I believe it was today. So I will close the meeting and adjourn the meeting in her memory at 6:44 p.m. in memory of Bonnie Flickinger.